All right, everyone, if you hear the cat singing in the background, he's pissed off because the office door is closed because otherwise there'll be cat hair everywhere. Got to talk additionally about impeachment, of course. Talked about Gabbard already, her grandstanding on that, which it's strategic, but it is a good idea. Like, it could work. It's just not particularly likely. And it is funny to see the Democrats drop the ball. Stop talking about impeachment. Start talking about Gabbard's role in impeachment. That'll go places. But we got to talk about impeachment in a more general sense. Of course, the House yesterday voted to impeach Donald Trump. Now, first and foremost, there's so much confusion among people who think this is the same as removal. Like, there are people saying, aha, Trump's no longer our president. Ha, congratulations to us all. Hashtag resist. We are the Rebel Alliance. That's not what happened. You held a partisan vote in the House, and the House decided to impeach. They've drawn up and approved articles that indict the President of the United States for obstructing Congress and abusing his power. You then have to send it over to the Senate. First, it has to be, Pelosi's sitting on it, and that's really the big news of the day as far as impeachment itself, other than Gabbard. Again, her taking the spotlight away, it was hilarious how effortlessly she did this. You have to take those articles, wait a while because Pelosi's not sending it over yet. She's holding out for assurances from McConnell on the fairness of the trial, which is bullshit because, again, that's only going to devolve into partisan hand-wringing, number one. And number two, to find more evidence before submitting to the Senate for trial. This is the most stark admission of wrongdoing that Pelosi could possibly issue. We impeached the bastard, but I'm not going to send the impeachment proceedings over to the Senate yet because I want more evidence to remove him from office. Well, he's not going to get removed. Mitch McConnell's going to lord over those proceedings with an iron fist. He is a master, at the very least in the strategic sense. When he wants to do something, McConnell usually gets it done. He's very effective at that, for better or for worse, depending on what party you're in, what ideology you have, and what issues he's taking up at the time. He's very good, therefore, at getting budgets passed when he wants to. Very good at locking things up, too, when he doesn't want things to be done. Hell, he can have people defecting in the Republican Party and procedurally just run rings around him. He's a master at these things. Mitch McConnell is not going to allow Trump to be removed from office because the Republicans, unlike the Democrats right now, are not suicidally self-righteous. Here's the thing. Pelosi intends for at least some weeks, possibly, to sit on this. So long as impeachment hangs like a pall over the political landscape, Trump benefits from that. Impeachment peaks in early to mid-October in popularity. It was more popular when it was unofficial and you were holding little hearings where Schiff and a few other Democrats would talk to the so-called whistleblower, the partisan hack that may not even have heard a phone call, in order to leak things to the press. Because as long as there was no cross-examination, it was a one-sided story. It was someone with Trump derangement syndrome talking to a bunch of Democrats, and then the legacy media got little tidbits to put out as pressers. Very effective. Trump called their bluff and said, look, I've done nothing wrong. Impeachment will fall through. McConnell's already called him on the phone by this point probably and told him that that's the case. I'm going to let him go. Really, I'm going to hammer him. I'm going to make them hit themselves in the face. Fuck you, Pelosi. Make it official. Fucking impeach me then. There's a reason why while he was being impeached, he was holding a rally with tens of thousands of people, sucking up the news cycle even a little bit more. Trump doesn't care. He's not concerned. He knows he won't be removed. He knows that this is a godsend for him. Look, his approval has hovered in the mid-40s. Okay, but ultimately mediocre levels for many, many months. Despite the fact that he's got a very strong economy, and he mentions this every time he gets a chance, despite the fact that the Democrats have no real mandate, they have no real front runner. I mean, they've got Biden, but that doesn't really count at this point. They have no real solid platform. They haven't found their footing. You can't fight a battle when you're slipping around all over yourself. It doesn't matter if you've got the better weapon. If you can't even stand up straight, you're going to lose. You get taken out with a dude with a penknife. You're sitting there holding a broadsword, but you don't know how to use it. The Democrats are fighting themselves effectively. That's their problem. They haven't found their footing. Trump's going to exploit this. Oh, he's going to wheedle about this constantly. His new attack line is, hey, I'm running against Congress. They have literally given him a silver bullet. When executives run against Congress, Congress is always less popular. They didn't have to do this. They could have set themselves up. The best strategy, I'll tell you, for Pelosi and the Dems, would have been, tell the American people exactly this. This is the following. We want to impeach him. He misused the executive powers we've given him. He broke the trust of the public. He's abusive. He's crazy. He's inviting foreign powers to interfere in our elections, which isn't true, but they've been feeding this lie for years. But we can't impeach him because the Senate won't let us. Mitch McConnell is also abusive, is empowering this tyrant. He's a far-right megalomaniac, and the Senate will not give a fair trial. We beg the American people to vote him out in 2020. We are censoring him. They could have held a totally partisan vote on censoring him. A lot of the never-Trumpers would have jumped ship and voted for it. It would have looked terrible for Trump because it would have shown that there is a Republican element that's not really on board with his wider policies. Some of those people come from swing districts. They would have hedged their bets against Trump, I guarantee you. We're censoring him. We are letting the American people know. We are saying he has broken the law, broken the norms of our political system, and we're launching our official grievances with him through this because we can't impeach him and expect him to be removed from office. They could have done that and stood on principle. Instead, they decided to ignore all polling to the contrary, claim that impeachment is a big, wild idea that the public wants, as though people even in swing states aren't begging the Democrats to fucking shut up and start doing something. Why don't you pass a trade deal? Pass some more tax relief. It's almost Christmas. Give people back some more of the money you're stealing from them every day. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do anything except for impeach Trump. But now, they could have run against the Senate, which would have been fine. People in Congress and outside of politics are running against one of the chambers of Congress. Congress tends to be unpopular. That can work. Instead, they're letting Trump run against the House. Well, the House of Representatives is the least popular edifice in the fucking country. Pelosi, look at Pelosi's disapproval. Compared to Trump sometime, you can look it up on RCP. They poll approval in Pelosi. Even a lot of the Democrats fucking hate this person. Trump's going to run against her. He gets to run against AOC and the far left, whoever the candidate is, and Nancy Pelosi. Oh, he loves it. He loves this. Oh, he's in his element. You've turned politics into a tabloid. You've turned politics into wrestling or pageantry or The Apprentice. You've turned it into exactly... The tragic irony is this. If you get nothing else from this video other than one little soundbite, take this one, record it, put it out there. You have fundamentally done what you're blaming on Trump, which is that you've turned U.S. politics into a tabloid, into a reality TV show. Trump didn't do that. He just showed up. All he was doing was insulting you on Twitter. That doesn't make it MTV politics. That doesn't make it Howard Stern show politics. The Democrats did that. He got them to do it seamlessly. They'll blame it on him at the end of the day. He's not the one doing that. He's just being Trump. If you don't play his game, all it is Trump being Trump and everyone else going along as normal and fundamentally doing things as normal. But Trump has gotten them to behave like barbarians. He's gotten them to jump around and throw their shit at people and say crazy things. Swearing on the congressional floor, much more common. He's not forcing them to do that, dude. All political scientists are going to have a field day looking back at the 2010s. Oh my God, the best decade for them from 2015 on. The last half of the 2010s will be considered legendary. It'll be a little bit like the politicking of the big stick era, like Teddy Roosevelt and how exciting that was. On steroids, because now we've got Twitter to amplify it even further. Anyway, I expect that impeachment will go nowhere. We're not even sure when Pelosi's going to front it to the Senate. Mitch McConnell doesn't have to give her any assurances. He can say, oh, yeah, we'll do what you want, Nancy. Then he gets it and he says, oh, no, I'm not going to do what you want, Nancy. Fuck off. I'm the leader of the Senate. You lead the House. You've got your own chamber to deal with. Why don't you do something like pass a budget? Why don't you pass a trade deal? Why don't you sign your name to something that people will actually remember? You do realize that Pelosi's the one that helped fuck the Democrats before, right? You've given control of the party's chamber of Congress to a person who is fundamentally emotionally crippled and inept, right? Democrats, you realize this, right? The Twitter echo chamber favors you and thinks Pelosi is the God Empress. That's not what the nation thinks. Most people oppose Pelosi. That includes a large proportion of Democrats, at least the non-far left ones. Impeachment is not popular. It is less popular now than popular. In some polling, it's above 50% disapproval for the idea. It's going to fall further, too. And now you've impeached him, but he's not going to get removed from office. Mitch McConnell will just drag out the polls. He'll put them on a piece of paper, submit that as evidence at the Senate proceedings, if you ever bother to let the Senate do its job. The Senate has the power to convict. The House has the power to impeach, essentially blame, indict, say that he's done wrong. The House has alleged that Trump's broken the law. The Senate has the power to put him on trial. run by Mitch McConnell and the GOP. There are not enough holdouts, Mitt Romney aside, there aren't enough holdouts in the Senate to cause any problem, certainly not to cross the 67 vote threshold. You'd need a sizable proportion of all Republicans to jump shark. It's not going to happen. He's been impeached. Whoop-de-doo. It is meaningless. If anything, it helps the Republican Party. Gives him a talking point. Trump could already run on a strong economy and trying to clamp down on the border and the Democrats obstructing his trade deals. Now he can run directly against the House of Representatives, exactly what he wanted. He has goaded them into this position for months. They took the bait, ran with it, and Pelosi keeps bashing her head against the wall, trying to figure out what to do. She's already failed. That's about all. Peace out.